The View is on life support. That's what the ladies are declaring as they say they don't think they'll be sporting a talk show much longer under the Trump administration. But there may be far more to this than simple conspiracy theory from Joy, Sunny, and Whoopi. Today we'll tell you why they're making noise, and it may have something to do with collapsing ratings and angry audiences, advertisers out, and now they're shouting, "We're the victims." Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is an honor every time we get to share time with you wherever we are. Thank you for bringing us into your day. As we get underway, consider clicking the like button, and it's time to dive into what exactly is the strategy at The View, where now they're telling you that they can't say what they want to say. Their rights are being taken away. Is it unbelievable? Yes, but the strategy may be deeper than it seems. All right, this is out of Daytime Confidential. It says, Joy Behar questions The View's longevity during Trump 2.0 administration. Behar wonders how long The View can survive amid Trump administration.
Let me guess, it's all Trump's fault, too.
Oh, orange man bad, make them so sad. Is The View able to withstand the Trump administration the second time around? That's what co-host Joy Behar is wondering. On Tuesday's episode of the long-running talk show, the panelists discussed topics ranging from the Wisconsin Supreme Court race to New Jersey Senator Cory Booker holding the floor of the Senate to show resistance to President El Trumpo and his administration. Now, folks, what you need to know is we have been documenting that the ratings for The View are not what they should be for Disney to want to continue to put out divisive content and perhaps drive advertisers away. We have been discussing in the past that various analysts have suggested that Disney needs to put a moderate, at least a moderate, dare we even say a conservative or two on the panel. The only problem is if they do what they've done in the past, they'll put one in there to be a piñata and they won't even be a true conservative. Now, what that means is that The View is highly motivated to alienate at least half the audience and then create a bubble atmosphere that goes far, far to the left. Now, how far to the left is it? Well, it's so far to the left that The View has been compared to daytime MSNBC, yet it's on Disney's daytime network. All right, let's go down now. I want you to see, though, I think we've actually reached the point where the ladies of The View have become aluminum foil hat-wearing conspiracy theorists. Get ready. Here's what they had to say when it comes to their rights and what they fear from Orange Man Bad. And as we watch it, we remind you yet again that these are Disney spokesladies because Disney pays them the money to do what they do. Here they are.
I want them to stop fooling around with my right to say what I feel. Right.
That's coming.
I don't like being threatened. I don't like people running up on me. You don't like what I say. This is America. I grew up here. And the one thing I always knew is I had freedom of speech. And every time somebody says, I don't like what they said, so I'm shutting down PBS. I don't like what they do. Those are broad strokes which have nothing to do with reality.
Now let's pause there because that's an interesting point that Whoopi is making. She is conflating freedom of speech with government funding of particular media channels that disseminate what many view to be propaganda. And that is how she views this, is that the government must fund the promulgating of the points that she believes in. And she is saying that this is a constitutional threat because the very right to free speech is at threat by the government saying, you know what, we've had enough of paying for PBS and NPR.
Weren't these the same people that were crying and screaming that X needed to be regulated because of this, that, and the other, and they should shut people down because this, that, and the other fake news and misinformation and all that other bull crap?
Tom, I'm not trying to be political, but I'm agreeing with you. Had Kamala Harris won, I don't think it would have been very easy for us to express our opinions. I think that was coming down the pipe. And I think that because I see what's happening all across Europe. Andre, do you feel the same thing? Can you share with us?
Absolutely. And Europe is more dystopian than it's ever been right now. I mean, they're going hard on censorship and on vilifying United States, Tesla, everything like that. And that's because we don't have anyone in charge like you guys do over there. So this is when I really, really see the difference, and it's really palpable. And to think if the election had gone the other way, we'd be in a very dark place right now. As it is right now, it's up to the United States to save the rest of the world.
Well, and thank goodness that
Hashtag mega.
Thank goodness that Trump is putting some pressure on Europe, because it could be rather dystopian. And we've talked to so many who live in Europe who they feel they can't even express their ideas now.
We can't. It's becoming more and more authoritarian.
The police
Some
are
places worse than others. I mean, and it's all full out pursuit of politicians who aren't part of the right order. Let's put it that way. I mean, you had like the opposition in France just got arrested and sentenced even.
Right. Lawfared out. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what the effort was last year in the U.S. And luckily it was not successful. And I say luckily because we want people to be able to choose in a democracy, in a republic, who they want to choose. We don't want judges to do that. By the way, I would say that we're not in a good place. And it seems to me it's what the View wanted, right? Back in November. But I don't think it's a good place to be in, where our viewers in the UK right now, and I'm speaking to you right now, if you're in the UK listening, I don't think it's a good place where you're listening to what we have to say and you're afraid to put a comment down in the comment section for fear that the authoritarian state will catch you. It's a problem.
And they'll literally come to your door and arrest you.
Yep. In front of your kids.
I'm not even joking.
Yeah,
That's how bad it is.
No.
All right, let's play the rest of the View, and we'll see. But they're the victims of the View. They're the victims, despite the fact that they're on network TV being paid to say whatever they want to say, and oftentimes having to come back after a commercial break and read a legal disclaimer because they just flat out told you something totally untrue. They're the victims. Here we go.
Because the fact of the matter is, just because you don't hear me say it doesn't mean I don't feel it. So my big thing is all the things you talked about, but this idea that you can no longer speak your mind as an American is really, really, especially coming from a group that always says, you know what, everyone's shutting us down. No one shut you down.
Terrifying. Can I say something?
I guess, yeah.
Please?
Yeah.
You tried, though.
I know we have to go.
Yeah.
But I remember years ago, I said to the audience, watch this space. When they tell us to keep quiet, you know we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
Well, not only that, but we're one of the few places that can still do what we do.
Well, for how long?
We'll pause on that for how long?
Do they still have that part at the end where they have to issue all the
Legal notices?
Legal notices? Yeah.
They haven't had to do that in an episode or two. They're on a record. Good job, The View. Way to go. You've got a couple under your belt. Jonas, what do you think about all this? Because there were actually efforts put in place to silence, and anybody watching this channel knows that for years, maybe the better part of a decade, there was an effort to completely silence and shut down, cancel, delete, remove Gina Carano, anybody who wanted to dare say a point of view that was even moderate. The little dictators online were there to shut down anything that they were inclined to not hear. So, Jonas, what do you think about The View? What is it they're terrified of? What's happening?
Well, I'm just looking at this and I'm seeing the pressure that they think that they're under now. And when I was in the corporate world, you couldn't even say that you were voting Republican without some form of apology or mea culpa in there to make sure that, oh, well, you're doing it for financial reasons or something like that. Being in a Fortune 500 company within the last 15 years meant that you were under a chilling effect where you could not talk about issues publicly. That same restriction was not put on anyone on the left. You could put almost any left-wing talking point out there and you would be fine to talk about it. Maybe even put it in print on HR communications and you would be totally fine. There were no emails coming out from CEOs saying that they're supporting a right-wing candidate. Meanwhile, multiple companies that I worked for would apologize for things that were happening politically that had nothing to do with the company's products that I worked for. So I don't think that people like Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin have any idea what it's like to be told you cannot speak. Or I'll throw one more thing on there. If you voiced opinions online that had nothing to do with your work, and it got back to the human relations department at your company, you would still suffer consequences for it. So I don't think they have any idea. The slightest amount of pressure put on them has them raising the alarm bells like, oh no, we're all going to be arrested or something like that. No. Maybe you won't get as good of ratings. Maybe some producer will tell you, no, you can't lie. You can't verifiably lie. You can give your opinion that something is false. This to me is just exhausting and boo-hoo.
Well, let me
again, as I often repeat, go sell crazy someplace else. We are all stocked up here.
But okay, what if it's not so crazy though, Jonas? Hear me out for a minute. What if this is a very keen strategic maneuver by the ladies on The View? Just let me. I'll put some cards on the table. The ladies of The View have their ratings that we have discussed in the past are not positive. I don't want to say they're dropping because you never know what can happen from day to day, but they're not great. They have put Disney in hot water over and over, and if we're measuring hot water by the number of times they've had to put out a legal clarification, that's how we'll do it. Sunny Hostin's husband is under investigation for insurance fraud within a RICO kind of structure, and Sunny Hostin may have implicated him as having been a part of it on the show accidentally. There are many factors right now that are putting The View in a very bad light. And if I'm one of the ladies on The View and the FCC is investigating my company, and my company has allegedly, the reports have been that they actually sent executives, kind of like Rachel Zegler. They sent executives to The View to say, hey, you got to calm this down. If I'm the ladies on The View and I think that there's a good chance that I might be taken off the air or that they're going to tell us to knock it off, like no more you get to choose. Really, you're going to knock it off now. If I think that's the way it's going to play out real soon, I might become a preemptive victim. I might come out and say, how long until we can't speak? And then that way I get to gaslight the audience into believing that it's because of Orange Man Bad rather than the sad ratings that the House of Mouse is telling me I've got to reverse, and I refuse to do so because I refuse to moderate and make a show that reaches out to the mainstream middle, the sensible center where money is made.
Yeah.
Badge, does that seem right to you?
I think so. So it's like you villainize somebody, right? And then you set up a resistance movement or so in order to claim the victim as part of that movement, get people to rally to your cause, and maybe increase your ratings and to get support from a broader community. It's not a bad modality to be in, given what The View is facing here. I believe that the viewership has been, I think, okay over there at The View. I think a lot of people were suggesting that how would they survive from anybody watching? But surprisingly, they've been resistant to a lot of the drops that other places have been experiencing, like late night, for example. So I think that is something. By the way, I just got a memo from, looks like a district court judge from the Southern District of New York saying that.
Wait a minute, Vash, are you telling me that during the show you're getting memos from assistant court judges?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, you got to stay abreast of all these things, and apparently, yeah, they want us to end the show.
I thought we couldn't say words like that on here.
Abreast, Tom, abreast.
Yeah, I don't care if it's abreast or two.
Oh, I felt like I knew I set him up for that. I knew it.
Yep.
Well, Vash, I'm going to be talking to Ron Coleman to see exactly who he's been giving you for connections. That we're going to have to unravel this thing. Unravel this before you get the gavel. That's the case here. But the View may be receiving the gavel real soon, and it's the preemptive messaging that has me wondering what they know and what they're worried about. And I got a feeling that they're shouting about something that is not their true enemy. In fact, it's them driving their ratings ever into the ground. And yet again, folks, we have come to the end. But what a video it has been, and we hope you agree. Folks, if you had a good time with us, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment right on down below. We care about your thoughts. Folks, we also want to invite you to partake in thatparkplace.com. Of course, www. You get the idea. Thatparkplace.com. It is the website telling the truth, and it is a rising star across the web for pop culture news coverage and analysis. Go over there and bookmark it today. Folks, we're bookmarking you as a great guest that we appreciate. Until the next time we have the honor of spending time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, folks, you better believe it, keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.